Hi there, this is Pat Roque. I am a leadership and career transformation coach, and you've come to the right place if you would love to know the secrets to really elevating your expert status, to pivoting your career, to landing your dream role in the new year. This talk is for you if you are ready to move up. So someone who's really good at what you do, you're looking for a raise, a promotion, the recognition, and the rewards that you deserve in your company or elsewhere. Perhaps you're looking to move over to some new company or a new career opportunity, or I don't know, are you in between jobs and really want a great company that's going to value your past experience? Maybe you're looking for that, but you just aren't sure about your transferable skills. That comes up a lot these days. The other challenge is maybe it's time to move on to a different kind of role altogether. And it's really smart to work with someone who's great at helping you gain perspective to see what skills you have, what skills you should enhance, and what will help you help a new company move to that next chapter together. I mean, after all, think about all the things people did this year. If they knew that they needed skills to lead a pandemic, that was not in anybody's job description. So let's be prepared. You've been looking for a while, but maybe you've just not quite ever really landed that true final offer, the one that's going to light you up and change your life. And perhaps you're just feeling stuck, and it's clarity and accountability that are sorely missing. So for any of those things, you've definitely come to the right place. So again, if you want to move up, move over, or move on to something different, you've definitely found the person here to help you. I totally get you. I've been let go more than once, lost my job more than once. As a matter of fact, maybe perhaps, as they say, my mess has become my message, because I've had my business. I've been an entrepreneur for 32 years, and yet got my master's thesis on virtual teams best practices in 2001, before 9/11. And that expertise in distance learning and remote work has really, really come in handy and helped me elevate and move in smart, strategic ways. My son and I were just on Good Morning America with the Sharks from Shark Tank. You can see us with Barbara Corcoran and Robert Herjavec. And there's Michael Strahan, and we were talking about an episode called Get the Job, and how do you navigate, and what should someone at the early part of their journey think about when it comes to setting yourself up for success. So I have been helping people from all over the world at some top major associations, organizations, industry leaders, and now today I'm going to share the best practices, the real life secrets that I've heard and learned, and some of the bumps I've learned along the way, the hard way myself, so that you don't have to. I've actually become an expert at LinkedIn, and I'm a contributor on Thrive Global and a sought after VIP and Fairy God Boss. So needless to say, it's a lot harder when you're trying to figure it out and you're the only one with your own perspective, versus having someone like myself who's been through this 1,000 times, who can give you collective wisdom, collective knowledge. I'm not perfect by any stretch, but I can tell you I've helped a lot of people through their bumps in the road, through their crises. And one of the things, whether me or someone else, if you're ever thinking about a coach, you want to make sure you're talking and working with someone who is that many steps ahead of you, because you have to depend on someone who can see around corners, who's going to offer information and share advice that you may not have even thought to ask. That is the secret, my friends. You don't know what you don't know. Same thing with myself. If there's things I'm stuck on, I find the best expert who's already been there, who's already proven that they can do it, and let me help you. And it's funny, because when I had to find my own way, I lost my last job at age 50. I was working in an agency, making buckets and buckets of money. And just like many people through this pandemic, I got the phone call and it all went away. Just like that. So you feel like you go from hero to zero in a moment's flash. And I had 2 kids in college, and I was having severe menopausal symptoms, and it was the ultimate perfect storm. What a nightmare. And so I struggled and I cried literally for almost 2 years. And while my best friend watched me suffer, she didn't know how to help me. For my 50th birthday, she dug in the snow, got this box of rocks, put 50 rocks, and so do you. And she took 50 rocks and colored them gold and put 50 things. So talked about how I'm supportive, how I'm generous, confidence, all these things that are special about me. And it got me realizing that when I had to pivot the last time, it wasn't about doing more of what I already had done. I did that. I went and applied for the same jobs I had just left and then wondered why when I got them, I said, no, thank you. I realized the definition of insanity was doing that same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome. So instead, I took that box of rocks and started thinking, what does it mean to be generous? Well, it's hard to ask for help, but you need to be a generous giver and an excellent receiver, because otherwise no one gets the gift of helping you either. And what about being supportive? How about being empathetic and proactive with your support? And so I would take these topics and blog one rock at a time on LinkedIn, and people started calling me from around the world. And when I did my own soul searching, I realized when I asked other people why they liked working with me or how I helped them the most, many told me I was a great speaker and trainer, and I kind of own that. That was good. I got that. But so many said I was the best career coach they ever had. And I did not understand that at all, because literally I never thought of myself in that way. And in fact, I had the most unorthodox career ladder. But what happened is they saw that I took all my marketing skills and prowess and was able to help them shine the light on their genius, to build a personal brand, to elevate, to navigate, to find new jobs, to get raises, to get promotions, to create jobs that didn't even exist, and talk someone else into paying for it. And so that was the impetus to create the Rock On Success System and to help you celebrate why you rock. And we're here now to help you see around corners. And one of my friends who's been very involved and a client for many, many years, this is Laura. She was an RN, an oncology pediatric nurse. That means a nurse in the cancer ward. And she leveraged that. She later got an MBA. She worked in Wall Street in finance, helping finance healthcare deals and transactions. She worked at digital marketing agencies. Then I met her when she was leading as a nurse educator, running that team for Bayer. We launched Nexavar, which was a cancer drug, US and globally. And I helped her with her pivot from pharma brand side into consulting again. So Laura, again, part of the team, part of that message that there's so many secrets to elevating your status, to pivoting your career that you don't learn for her in nursing school, and even for people who are in business school. So we're going to give you best practices, street smarts on how to take your skills, the things you know and do well, and to help you think differently about what the world has in store for you, what you deserve and want in your next chapter, how to connect the dots from those skills and talents to the language of business now, to what those roles might even look like, and how to help you land your dream job. Doesn't that sound like joy and something worth doing? So I ask this when I teach this live, how long have you been looking for a role? And it's mind-bending how many people have been out for months or even over a year at this point. And so I'm going to share with you a step-by-step framework to reach those big, hairy, audacious career goals in 90 days. And why do I say that? Because you deserve it. Don't settle for a job. Please, please give yourself the gift of reflection and taking action and finding what lights you up and what you're really good at. And I promise, if you pay attention and work toward a goal that matters, the whole rest of your life will be so much better. So let's think about some of the things you can steal, borrow, beg, ideas that I will show you worked and you can put to practice in your own life. And then at the end, it's not going to be this big pitch-a-thon. I'm going to teach you things. And at the end, if you are interested, I'm going to stop and I'm going to turn around and explain to you a program that we're working on that's kicking off soon that might be the perfect solution for you to work side by side with us. So let's learn, let's grow together. And then I will show you how in my world we connect those dots. And if you want to become part of the Rock On Success family, that might be your moment. So let's keep going. I'm going to teach you, ready? How to bust past the BS myths that prevent you from reaching your dreams. BS is not just bull. It could be, but it's the belief system. It's those silly, stupid, not so true things that people say, like if you want a new job, get your resume updated. The resume is the last thing. It is the least important piece of your career pivot puzzle. If that sounds strange to you, stick around, because I promise it's not the thing that will get you a new job. And I get lots and lots of business from folks who spend money and go to those, what I call career mills, where you get access to a portal and very little help, and they waste time, which is even more important than wasting money, believe it or not. And then they come to me afterwards saying, oh, it's disappointing because nothing happened. Yeah, no kidding. That's because you didn't pay attention and dig in and personalize everything we're going to talk about. But I'll teach you. Learn how people just like you landed their dream jobs. Literally, there's patterns to their success, and I'm going to point them out so that you can take advantage of fast tracking your learning by piggybacking on someone else's. And what are those little, simple micro steps, those things you can do every day, even if they take 5 or 15 minutes, micro actions to achieve your goals over the next 90 days. You know, if you're looking for a job and feel like this dude, I get it, because trust me, I was there. But number one, myth one, good companies aren't hiring at my level. Oh, I'm too blank blank. I'm too old. I'm too expensive. I'm too remote. I live in the boondocks, blah, blah, blah. Stop with the I'm too, ... And let's start thinking about why you rock. And let me share with you. So for example, David on the left-hand side had a job, was working at a great company in supply chain and logistics. And he was starting to just wear thin and feel underutilized. And he's like, I don't want to go down with this as my last big hurrah. This is not a big hurrah. I've been really successful, but I know that there's something bigger or better that I'm meant to do. So he really wanted an elevation strategy, whether with his company or somewhere else. And he landed his dream job where they came after him. And he said that literally he was a lurker, and he kind of joined the group and watched from the outskirts for a little while. And when he finally sat and I talked about, what do you want your legacy to be? And the difference is, you never want to be that person who at the end of your days, the person you've become meets the person you were supposed to be. You deserve to live to your potential. And that aha moment put David in high gear. He started doing the daily accountability. And after just about 2 weeks, he said, all of a sudden it became so much easier. And he got in this groove and he realized how much more he could accomplish. And those momentum steps, plus one-on-one coaching, we ended up working on his LinkedIn profile. And he said people came out of the woodwork coming after him. And he landed his dream job. And the other one is Gina. She is a rock star in human resources. And she sat and listened to this very same talk, just the same conversation we're having now over the summer. And by the time we had her buttoned up, she worked on perfecting her interview. I know we had some lighting issues. We worked on helping her position herself for different industries. She happens to have some transferable skills that can apply in multiple places, like you probably do too. She had 3 jobs chasing after her, fast track interviewing in 3 different industries, which is a big accomplishment. She was my very first client that we had to go through that whole, how do I interview after we went in isolation for the pandemic. One of those was the very first one that required her to go back into a live person to person in the room together interview with 6 people. So they sat her in an auditorium. I helped her. We practiced with interviewing with a face mask on, how to have the cadence. We had her organize how to sit. She actually rearranged the people in the room because it was stadium-like, and she's in HR. She'd never be speaking to them that way. So how do you deliver the setting? How do you articulate when you literally have on a face mask? How do you navigate all the extra nuances of, were there extra security? Were there traffic pattern changes? Were you taking public transportation and was it available? There were so many logistical things. So who knew that that was going to be part of career elevation, right? But it is, and it was, and Gina mastered it. And so we share everything we went through with her, we shared with the group, and then they all got better. Just like recently on interviewing, we just had 2 people in the last couple of weeks who had written job interviews, and the question sounded like it was your 4th date. It sounded like you were not even on your first date and I was asking you, what should we marry? What should we name our firstborn child? Really advanced questioning that was handed to someone before the first interview. And we're going to talk about that. But yes, companies are hiring for high paying roles, for prestigious roles, for executive roles. And sometimes we're able to craft your own dream job. It's happening. It's out there, and let's be proactive and positive about it. The second myth is that your resume will never land you a job by itself. As a matter of fact, if you spray and pray and just send resumes, I know people sending 10, 20, 50, 100. 100 resumes will never get you a job. Statistically, maybe 1 in 10, but I'm going to tell you, do a bigger job of burning through first impressions. And so when I met Susan, she knew her contract was up. She was in healthcare and insurance. She knew her contract was ending, and she really wanted to find a new role. She's in the finance end of things. And so she was hesitant about networking. Pandemic was just starting again. And so one of the things I taught her was confidence in conversations. And so when she did her networking and started interviewing, she hit it off with someone they interviewed, and she literally got the job when she finally realized that they were both having a Cinderella moment. I know that sounds interesting, but it was not about the resume. It was about building a relationship with someone, them asking to chat with her later, them asking her to give them her resume. She never had to go through the computer ATS. Humans, human to human connection, knowing, like that Cinderella moment, there's a shoe for every foot and a foot for every shoe. And I want you to own those times. Be aware of what you want and deserve. And when you're in the surrounding of people who light you up, it's kind of like when I met my husband, or when you met your person. Sometimes you just know. Sometimes you just know. Honor that. Those are the things worth having. Myth number 3, I can hide behind a keyboard and do this myself. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Hiding behind a keyboard is probably the worst thing you can do. The New York Times wrote an interesting article. What do we have in common with people in prison, with astronauts, and with Antarctic explorers? The answer, we are all in isolation, and we have atrophied our relationship building muscles. Even the most fluent conversationalists seem to feel awkwardly antisocial right now. We don't know what to say. We've kind of all become boring. We don't do anything. We binge on Netflix, or we talk about what we ordered from takeout or made for dinner. There's not much. There's no activity. There is no travel. There's really not much going on. So one of the things I encourage you to do is to make sure that you not just connect with your people from your current circle, but that you use that opportunity to reconnect and reestablish relationships. Go ahead and outreach, even if it's just to wish people a happy holiday now. Lynn was one of my clients. We met at a workshop I did. It was called Rock Your Second Act. She came to me later and said that she really wanted an elevate in her company. She loved her company, but she wanted more. So she planted advocates. She taught her executives how to advocate for her. Reached out to people. She ended up with 10 people she had meetings. She handed them a cheat sheet, a card with 5 bullets of things, her major accomplishments, because she knew they were all going to a meeting together that she would not be included in. And so when they were having discussions about planning the next steps, 6 of the 10 people advocated for her in her absence. And after that, they invited her to this dinner. And that picture on the left, they awarded her with the Manager of the Year for her entire industry. So she won the top industry award. She got recognition in her company. We taught her to go outreach to the organization that does the software, kind of the infrastructure, the engine that runs her industry. She became an ace. She said, I don't know why everybody struggles with it. I'm really good. I find it easy. I love helping people. So she is now in charge of leadership and training and working directly with the manufacturer of that tool. So now she's got tentacles all over the industry. She's elevated in her company and her industry. And that magazine article on the right, oddly enough, she was so excited because it says coming of age in her second act. So we found it really cool that our Rock Your Second Act came full circle, and the author of that article had no idea of that pre-story. And that's how they described it. So helping you use connections, help understand and teach people how to advocate for you. First of all, it's fun to reconnect with old friends. It's smart to get people in your corner. It's even smarter to get them writing recommendations and speaking fondly of you. And then to have rewards and recognition so that you can now elevate up. And then if you ever feel locked in your company, you can take that information and go anywhere in the industry with the help of that major software provider, right? So I always ask people, what's holding you back? Some people are afraid of, they blame time, they blame their kids. Lack of clarity and accountability come up a lot. Some people, it's really, believe it or not, it's either fear of failure or it's fear of success. What happens if something changes? What happens if I get a great job? And that might sound silly to you, or you might be sitting there thinking, yeah, that's me. Either way, I promise that there's smart ways to take small daily steps. I call them micro actions, and shine the light as a leader to win the race to a happier future. So why do some people have 3, 5, 8 interviews in a week and multiple job offers? I promised you I'm going to share with you behind the curtain and let you see exactly what they're doing differently and better. So here are the 3 secrets that have really made a difference. Number 1, focusing on your strength, focusing on your priorities and your non-negotiable things that matter most to you and to your family, as well as your transferable skills. So in our academy, when I talk about that, literally, we teach people how to rock your strength, how to find what I call your career GPS. What direction do you want to head? Once I understand with you and for you what matters. I created a career soul searching assessment. You definitely should take that. That's a gift from me to you if you haven't already. But take the career soul searching assessment, do the reflection, figure out where you've struggled, and be honest with yourself. Where have you done well? Where do you see yourself going down the road? What do you want your legacy to be? Get clear, focus, because focus brings you freedom. You can't have laser eye surgery with a shotgun, folks. So focus brings you freedom. The second is about never appearing like a candidate. Decision makers hire problem solvers. They want you as a solution. And I'm going to show you how Karen did a Center of Excellence model. I'm going to talk to you about that. Number 3, daily action and accountability eliminates procrastination. No excuses. You can't go backwards if you're moving forwards, right? Inertia is never your friend. Taking action is your friend. And I'm going to show you here. So for example, in step 1, I talked about understanding your strength and finding clarity of purpose and passion, right? So the big thing the last few weeks, people have been asking, how do you understand your transferable skills? And Laura is a nurse, and she said to me, she was in a Facebook group, and 120 something people showed up, all raising their hand when she said, are you stuck trying to figure out your next chapter? Because they didn't know how their nursing skills applied somewhere else. And this could be in any category, not just healthcare, but we wrote just a couple of examples to get you started. So for example, if she's talking to a fellow nurse, back when you were caring for patients and juggling busy activities, they need medications and testing and baths and doctor visits, everything. That's about ability to manage priorities, because these business skills are high demand. Sales skills and project management, well, if you worked in clinical trials and recruitment, for example, that aligns with those business skills. Or interpreting data and problem solving, highly sought after skills. Well, reading lab results and understanding clinical trial information is super challenging, and that's a lot of data and storytelling. So that is a great segue. The other is communication and client relations, right? That's what most companies want and need. Well, patient education on their disease and their treatment is a very strong example. So we actually are going to create a 1-hour masterclass as part of our career accelerator I'm going to talk to you about, but we're going to create a 1-hour masterclass focused specifically on transferring your skills from one career to another. You need to understand that your talent is money in the bank. Your genius, your experience does not go to waste, because 70% of us will be working by 2030 in jobs that don't have names yet. In careers, we cannot say because those things don't even exist. So you can't worry about what you're not, because we're going to have to learn today and 5 and 10 years from now how to assimilate, how to take our skills and what we've done and how to show a decision maker that we can impact them moving forward. If I teach you anything and you learn that that is truly possible, and if you want to work with me, I will teach you exactly how to do it. That, my friends, is the secret sauce to career excellence and not struggling, to really staying in your lane and continuing to move forward in a way that lights you up and keeps you intent, keeps you fulfilled, keeps you challenged enough so you're learning and growing. Here's Tracy, perfect example. She's smart, she's sassy, she's got a PMP, which is a project management, high-level certification. She's worked in nuclear, she's worked in medical device, she's a genius. Her contract ran out. She had worked with a different career coach, was completely unhappy, met me, we hit it off. We did things like she wanted to really focus on med device and clinical trials. I found her a free course from Harvard. She took the course. She ended up deciding she wanted to pay for the certificate. So she's got on her profile that she's got a Harvard certificate in clinical trial work. Fabulous way to gain credentials without going for yet another master's or a very long and expensive degree when it's not necessary. So understanding what skills you should dial up and what skills you can enhance quickly and where to invest time and or money or not is a really smart part of this time management and this progression path. And she lives up in Connecticut. I introduced her to leaders from Yale so that she could understand what's going on in her community. I introduced her to thought leaders at a major national global defense company because she was thinking about maybe she should go back into that industry. She had experience. She actually had a VIP, her own concierge recruiter on the inside of a major company whose job it was to help her. Tracy only sent 12 resumes working with me. 12. Had 6 companies interviewing her. And even the day she took her job at Becton Dickinson, which is now called BD, she had 5 more calls for jobs, even the day later on in the day after she accepted her dream job. So dream role, fully remote with a top global firm. That came from someone who was very confused, didn't know which way to go, was a little bit quiet in the beginning. And then once she got clarity on what she wanted, guns a-blazing, let's do this. Very proud of you, Tracy. Way to go. Karen had a different story. She was a bear for many years. So she had more than 2 decades, literally, of institutional knowledge. But when she kind of maxed out in her role and wanted to stay there, I wasn't a career coach. I was her agency partner, helping her launch a drug, honestly. And she wanted to pivot. So we found a friend who was a leader in a different part of the company. She identified a gap that existed, an opportunity. I helped write the business case, the job description, updated her profile and her resume. We got Larry to fund her employment status in his department. He brought it into HR. They couldn't get over how they had a great candidate. She built a business case and pivoted from Marcom to compliance, which if you know anything about healthcare, those are really big switches, but it is possible when you can build a business case. And now moving on later, I never want to hear you complain about, oh, I'm too old or I'm too this, because if you take your genius and position it, ready? Build a center of excellence model. Learn how to speak to your experience in the form of a solution, in the form of a package as a center of excellence, so that when you go into a new company, you're already bringing the genius. You don't have to learn it while you're there. You've got it. That's really super important. So please, please, please never underestimate yourself. She was then nominated and won the top life leader award in her company out of 136 people out of the whole United States while she was working remotely. So it was very easy to then position her now as a leader going forward, right? And secret 3 was about daily action and accountability. My friend Jim said to me that besides assembling this great team of people, he loved that we continue to evolve service at every interaction. We continually find ways to fine tune, to make it better and help you be better. So my tip for you is you work with me, I do this for you, or you do it on your own, or you find someone, but Daily accountability. What one thing will you commit to doing every day that can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? What will you do to get one step closer to your dreams? Now, I actually text and email my clients in the morning. Good morning. What will you do today? They take 2 seconds. They answer me. They do it. At the end of the day, I'll check in. Hey, how'd your day go? Did you get it done? Yes or no? Why not? And what are you going to do tomorrow? And it's funny how if you put your weekly goal and you chunk away little bits at a time, Jim loved doing it. David told me it was key to really him realizing how much he could accomplish. Accountability and action toward goals. Inertia, again, inertia is not ever your friend. Remember that. You've got to keep moving forward. So if you're figuring out what should I be doing next, if you're just not exactly sure, think about this. What do people thank you for? Why do they love you? And what are you doing now? Like, can you get there on your own? What are you going to do now to get to those goals? And how about this one? If time and money were no object, what would you do? Like, I never plan on retiring. I don't think I ever will because I love, love, love what I do. And I'm good at it. And it makes me happy. And I have total flexibility. And I live at the beach overlooking the ocean. And I'm not saying it to brag. I'm saying it because I've had a really hard career, and being a mom with my son ended up with meningitis and a coma with special needs for many, many years, 11 years of therapy. I had a really hard decade of helping him not just survive, but thrive. And now he is an Eagle Scout, a college grad with honors, and he's the youngest news director at NBC. But it was not easy at all. And so I share that with you, a very personal thing, because I want you to understand that I'm not sitting up on a perch with this perfect life and everything's easy. I have struggled and hit rock bottom and cried and sweat and tears and everything. And I don't want you to have to do things the hard way, but I want you to pay attention to these questions because I want you to have clarity on goals worth having. When something's worthwhile, you'll do the right thing to get there. And what are you willing to do to make shift happen, right? You need a framework to transform you. And that is really the secret. When I look for a coach, when I'm trying to figure out how to get support, the big things I ask for, what's going to actually change my life? What do I need to do to be a more effective leader? Because my success is not mine alone. My success is going to impact lots and lots of people, and hopefully yours will too. What do you need to do to really, it's an inner game thing. It's not a resume that's going to get you elevated. It's that inner game. It's your mindset, then your skill set, then your tool set. And what about that passion, knowing that you deserve more? Don't sabotage yourself. I promise you deserve it. I really do. But think about, what is it worth to try to move forward and get there even in these challenging times? Here's simple career math, right? For every week you are not working in your zone of genius. Now, I work with lots of folks who have been displaced. Even as early as 15 minutes before I recorded this, I had someone get called in and they were told they're going to lose their job. Happy New Year to you. But you know what? Let's just say you make $200,000 a year, just a round number. You get a 10% bonus. It costs the company about $50K in benefits. So a $200,000 job's about $270 a year. Next year, you get 10% on that. It goes up to about $300,000. The following year, it's worth $320, $330. So here's what happens. If you make $100,000 a year, just round numbers, for every week you are not working, it costs you almost $2,600. If you make $200,000, it costs double that, $5,500, $5,200. There is an opportunity cost for not accelerating in your career now. Every day you wait, every day you do more of the same or do nothing costs you tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I just read an article that said a good career choice could cost you as much as $1 million or gain you $1 million over the course of your career, because success breeds compound interest. Okay? Success breeds compound interest. There is a dollar attached. Stop losing thousands of dollars every week due to procrastination. So I stop and say, this is where, if you want, just know that let your dream be bigger than your fears. And as Marie Forleo says, everything is figure outable. But if you're interested in really learning how to thrive not just thrive, but survive. Not just survive, but thrive. Say that again. I'm going to show you the secret now. I'm going to talk about our program. I'd love to give you the opportunity to think about this and mull it over and come on board, because we've got the secret sauce. I can take you step by step on what we do and how we do it. And if it's a good fit for you, I'd love to give you the opportunity to come on board. And if not, I hope you've learned a lot. Thank you for your time. God bless you, and enjoy the rest of your day. But for those of you here, I want to teach you about the Rock Your Career 90-Day Accelerator. It is the best program I could come up with because I couldn't find one. I couldn't find what I needed, so I built it, right? And this is emulating the way I did my master's degree. I loved. I have my master's in organizational leadership. I did it online through Thomas Edison. I became a global spokesperson on virtual learning, on e-learning and virtual teams, and love it. And that is the format I've used. So I've built an academy. It's got 9 modules. It's all online. It's robust, everything in worksheets and checklists and PDFs and group chats and discussion rooms and assignments. It's fabulous and beautifully put together. But more importantly than that, the things we're going to take you through: mindset, clarity on your gifts and your non-negotiable priorities; skill set, which is confidence in your competence and connecting the dots from your past to your future; and then finally, tool set. I'm going to teach you how to communicate your best self and how to connect with people so that they walk you in the door. Do you hear me? People walk you in the door. If you look here, these are the modules. So mindset, clarity, rocking your strength. I have you take the Gallup Strength Finders test. I have you do the career soul searching assessment. I'm adding a module in here. We're going to be adding a bonus day, a 1-hour masterclass live training that will become part of the module that's going to be all about transferable skills. So that'll be on clarity and what do I do? Where do I take this? So that's how we kind of set your career GPS. And then the next part is skill set, how to develop confidence, connecting those dots. So what do we do to build a 90-day plan? And I'm going to physically give you, show you my planner. I built a custom 90-day planner. You can use it on the computer version of it. But basically, how do you start with the end in mind? Because if today is New Year's Day, just making it up, right? What do you want to see differently when April rolls around and the Easter Bunny shows up and flowers start blooming again? What do you want to see differently in your life? Work there and start with the end in mind and work backwards. I will teach you how to build a plan that's viable. I will teach you how to have accountability, including giving you accountability with my accountability tracker. We have a value blueprint, literally a tool that's going to take you and show you how to quantify your achievements. We're going to look at what are the responsibilities you've had. How do they assimilate to the company? What do you want your responsibilities to be next? Because some people want to do more and some people want to do less. Not everybody wants a big job. Maybe you do, but that's your choice. I'm going to help you think out loud, and I'm going to help you build an archive, basically a library, a tool that you own, that you have forever. You only ever have to do this once because you're going to have these tools. They're accessible to you. They're yours. So you can download it and have access on a Google Drive forever, and you can add to it in perpetuity. So whether you're 30, 40, or 50, whatever you're looking at, I'm giving you a tool set and a system and a framework with everything figured out, and all you have to do is populate it and answer and think out loud and use it as a place to gather your thoughts and gather your accomplishments. It's amazing. Testimonials. I'm going to teach you how to outreach and how to get recommendations from people so that you're not bragging about yourself, because that feels funny. Let them tell the story. I mean, I have 80 something recommendations on LinkedIn. So you can very easily find out from 80 different people why I rock and what they got out of working with us. I'm an open book. It's all right there. You will see patterns. Gives me confidence, gave me clarity, put my needs first, made me feel like I was the only customer, the only client, the only person in the room. That's my gift, and that's my gift to you. The third is communication and connection. So now, do you notice resume didn't show up until now? Because it doesn't deserve to show up until now. You need to have your story together, and you need to know what you're trying to accomplish. And then We will have you do a resume. I have templates for you. We teach you all about the computer and the applicant tracking system, which is the beast that tries to be the gatekeeper and block you from getting into companies, which is why we go around it and we work with real people to get you into companies. I teach you all of that. I teach you busting past gatekeepers. We teach you how to interview, write cover letters that count, provide you with all the templates. We help develop a stellar LinkedIn profile. And that's where we talk about building a personal brand. It'll be SEO rich, which is search engine optimization rich. People will be able to start to find you. So I'll teach you how to become the sought after expert, and I'll teach you how to do outreach on LinkedIn. It works both ways. I've picked up speaking gigs and clients and friends and old friends. I had, on the last workshop, I had at least 5 people that I have known for over 15 years show up on the last workshop I did. Amazing. So much fun. So much fun. And now I'm able to help them. Some of them were helping me way back then, and now I'm able to help them. It's awesome. I love it. I'll teach you how. It's so much fun. And it's the networking. So again, not just your connections and your recent people, but your reconnections. Reaching out and engaging with folks you haven't seen in 2, 5, 10, or 15 years. My system will work for you, even if you are a huge introvert. This is not only for outgoing, bubbly people like me. This is my way of having a system for you that we will adapt for you so that you will become confident, clear in your articulating your value, comfortable, and really making major connections. Whether you are outgoing, whether you are confused, whether you are stuck, whether you are an introvert, you will get past all of those hurdles by letting us help you with mindset, with skill set, and with tool set. So the Rock Your Career Transformation is a comprehensive system. As you see here, it is mobile app. It is stuff you can do on your computer. Some of it you print out. You can sit with pen to paper. You can work with my printed journal if you want. We have the Career Soul Searching Assessment alone is an 18-page assessment I created for you to really sit and think through things. I teach you how to crush your goals. I teach you through video, audio downloads, checklists. Again, my expert in distance learning, all the different ways that make it easy for you to consume information when you want, how you want, and where you want. So you can listen while you drive in the car. You can sit huddled on a beach chair or next to a fireplace. You can listen to it when you walk your dog. You can come on Zoom and work collaboratively with other people. This will play well with no matter your work and learning style. It's built to be a master's level professional development course, fluid in that it's got lots of different types of things. It's got lots of information, again, not to overwhelm you, but rather to empower you, to let you take advantage of your best self and your highest potential in the ways you see fit, in the ways that make you comfortable, and in the pockets of time that you will commit. I call it chunking time. You will commit pockets of time to making yourself more successful. Now, if all I did was help you not only survive, but thrive, would it be worth 10 grand? Yeah. Hello. I've helped people double and triple their income, and I am not exaggerating at all, who made 46,000, 43,000, 76,000. The last 2 people, no. Wow. The last 4 people have all just nailed the biggest jobs of their entire career. That's happened to be what they wanted, by the way. Not everybody, like I said, wants the big job. They did, and they all negotiated with my help the largest comp packages they've ever had. Would that be worth 10 grand? I'm sure. I mean, I had 2 choices. I could make this expensive, or I could find a way to make it so that you could get to say yes now. So I decided to make it a no-brainer for you to say yes, to be quite frank. So bonus 1, rock your reconnections. I'm going to teach you exactly like I said Lynn did, how to activate your advocates. So that's a special course. It's usually $197. You're going to learn, because out of sight should never make you feel like you are out of your mind, right? Become your own best ambassador and teach other people to do it too. The next is I'm going to share with you my best Amazon shopping list. I call it the work from home productivity booster pack. I'm going to show you exactly how I found the best light for under 20 bucks, how to put a backdrop if you don't have a place to have a nice backdrop, how to get one of these fake backdrops that looks really professional. So if and when you're interviewing, you look like a rock star. All my tips and tricks are right there. I keep the list current because things sell out, but it'll make it really easy for you to look and sound good when you're interviewing, when you're connecting with people, when you're delivering in your job. Oh, this is amazing. So my mastermind, I've got 2 levels. Most people at a minimum work with me and they do the academy, the 9 modules, and I do live training. Every single module I teach for 1 hour live every 90 days. So I take you through the interviewing section, the negotiating process, networking, all the pieces I've talked about. I teach every single one of them, but it's more in a group effort. You can have a personal review, a personal chance for me to sit and help you with an interview question, look at your profile. We call that the hot seat. It's usually reserved for my VIP masterminds. You can have these are very limited, hot seat personal review. That's $1,000 value. And again, that rock your accountability, this daily nudge, we've just put it in. That's new in midway through 2020, and it has been gangbusters for people. So we're going to put that in. And the last is building what I guess will become the 10th module. It's about your transferable skills. We're going to help you think about alternate career paths. We're going to do a 1 hour live masterclass special training that'll then be recorded and put in the academy also. But we're going to teach you how to understand your skills and explore alternative career paths. That alone should be worth $10,000 because that's going to solve you nights and weeks and months of losing sleep. Will never happen again. We're going to help you get clear on what else is out there for me. And if you've ever asked yourself that question, now is the time to answer it. I laughed at this. It says I put the pro in procrastinate, but not anymore. Getting